Corporal Aaron Cardenas, United States Marine Corps, Iraq. Folks, Aaron's one of my Iraq veterans, and let me just say, our Iraq veterans today are in their 40s already, so it's been over 20 years since OIF-1, OIF-2, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and Aaron was right there. I was at Camp Pendleton several times during my work, 29 Palms, Camp Pendleton, MCRD, and I met Aaron there. I was interviewing about almost 24 Marines that come back from Iraq in 2007. It was April 27th, 2007, almost 20 years ago, folks. I interviewed Aaron, and he was a corporal, and I think he stayed in 4 more years after our interview. But just a great man. Served with the 1st Marine Division, infamous 1st Marine Division, 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, C Company, C Platoon, 1st Team. And his brother, identical twin brother, was serving with him in the same company and platoon. So I'm not sure what happened to his brother, but if they're both obviously out of the Marine Corps now. But I just want to start sharing more of my Iraq stories too. Afghanistan, Iraq, more of my Canadian stories, things you haven't really seen a whole lot of here, but I've got many stories along these lines. So God bless Aaron for his service in the Marine Corps. He told me about Fallujah. He fought in Fallujah and Ramadi, 2 different deployments. So he was part of OIF-1 and 2. And urban warfare. We discussed, conventional warfare and, who's the enemy? No uniform enemy, terrorists. A very cowardly way to fight a war, I think. And but he was there, young man, 23 at the time, and tells the story. And a great story he tells. I want to thank S.K. Ofstad, Sean Johnson, Rita Schultz, and Bill and Mary Claire Amer for supporting this work on this channel. And God bless all of you. It's just been a blessing working with you. You're continually helping to support my work, and I'm just indebted to you. I thank God, and I pray that He'll bless you richly for helping me. I'm grateful for your continued support of my work, helping me to continue featuring stories here, getting out, interviewing more Vietnam vets this year, which it's really on my heart to do that. And just your support to our country and your patriotism. God bless all of you, and thank you. I'll keep working with you, okay? Okay. All right, folks, what else can I say about Aaron Cardenas? Just a great young man when I met him at Camp Pendleton. And just very reflective of all those that have served over the years. And the Marine Corps, the long history and tradition of the Marine Corps, I'm always excited to interview the Marines. So, but that's it for now. If you haven't watched or listened to the radio station, Voice of History Radio, I encourage you to do it. You can get a free app on the Google Play Store. You can watch it on my website, larrycapetto.com, and there's many other ways to access Voices of History Radio. All the stories that are aired on this YouTube channel are broadcast there afterwards, so Aaron will be on there with all the other ones. So, but if you have any comments or any questions or suggestions, just get a hold of me. You can email me off my website or off the comment section of all the videos. If you want to become a part of my work, that's greatly appreciated. You can get a hold of me through my website or through the comment section or the video description on all my videos. So it'll be greatly appreciated. There's so much I want to do. Did I tell you I'm writing my book, Capturing Courage on Camera, folks? I thank God for this, really. This is a great opportunity to share what I've done the last almost quarter of a century with my work. And I've shared my introduction with a lot of you, and I've had so much positive feedback. So it's going to be released on November 11th, which is Veterans Day 2025, with a lot more to come on that. So if you want to become a part of that, you can definitely do that too. So it's exciting. All right, let's honor Aaron Cardenas with this interview, folks. Share these videos. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that, and let's keep this thing going. Freedom is not free. Freedom is earned, and history is best learned from those who are there. God bless you. been in the Marine Corps?
I've been in for 4 years and 2 weeks, I believe.
And is there, well, I'm just kind of curious, do you re-enlist after 4 years, or do you sign up for 8 years? Or
Well, when you enlist for the first your first term, it's 8-year enlistment, but 4 years. It could be 4 years active and 4 years inactive. So if I finish my tour of 4 years active, I can get out and become a civilian, get a job, and my name's always in the system until those 4 years are up. But you can also re-enlist after your 4 years for another 4 years active. So when you do your full 8 years, you could just get out and do your thing. So I re-enlisted.
okay.
So
Did you go through MCRD?
yes, I have.
Do you remember that first day at boot camp?
Vaguely, but yes, I do.
Is there like a bus ride in? I hear there's a bus ride in. Is that like you assemble at an area, and then I think somebody told me the USO, and then you were assigned to a bus or a group, and then you go to a report? Is that how that works?
Well, what we do is our recruiters will take us to MEPS. It's where they, I guess, get you ready to go in with all the computer work and paperwork. And then from there, the bus ride will take you to a hotel where you stay overnight. And from there, the next day, you will go to straight to MCRD. And we'll already know, we're all with our group already, and we already know where we're going to. So, and we'll just get dropped off. That's where it all begins.
So the first day's chaotic. I mean, getting off that bus and
Just because they have to process you, you have to get your issued stuff, and you have to go through a lot of classes for how to get processed into the military or in the service.
you really don't remember much about boot camp?
Uh,
Was it that traumatic, or I mean, is it like you just have other things you've done since then? It's kind of a fading memory, or
I believe the reason why I think I have short-term memory, so I've bumped my head a lot of times, so I think that's how I forget
That's okay.
a few things. But some people will never forget like their boot camp number, which is like mine was platoon 1087, 1st Battalion, Delta Company. But there's things I'll remember, there's some things I won't because I just forgot about it.
That's all right.
But
How old are you now?
I'm 23.
Wow. So you went in like 19, 18?
I was 19 years old, yes.
Wow. What made you decide to join the Marine Corps?
Well, I'm a very big, I love history. It's my favorite subject at school, and I wanted to become part of a history. That was my goal. And I wanted to travel, deploy. And my dad was a Marine. He was in for 24 years, and he just got out 2 years ago. So my brother and I, we enlisted together, and we've been together ever since.
Now, your father wasn't in Vietnam then?
No, he wasn't. He missed his tour to go to the Persian Gulf because he was on another assignment. But he's been in since 81, I believe.
Right. Well, that's good, the tradition. You have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have one brother and one sister. She is 17, and my brother, we're identical twins.
Yeah, is he in the Corps?
Yes, he enlisted. We both came in together, and he re-enlisted for another duty, and I re-enlisted for another duty also. So this is the first time we're about to be separated.
Yeah. So he's here at Camp Pendleton now, or?
Yes, we were in the same company, same platoon.
Wow. Now, you've been to Iraq once?
Twice.
Twice? What years were you over there?
I was in Fallujah 2004. It was supposed to be a 31st meal. We went to Okinawa for 3 months and Iraq for 4 months. And in 2005, I went to Ramadi for 7 months. And then we just came back from a 31st meal.
When you're young, in a combat situation for the first time, did you feel invincible at all? Like nothing can happen to me? And is there a baptism under fire when the bullets start flying and you realize this thing's for real and somebody can get killed out here? I mean, does a Marine feel invincible, you think, at times?
That's a very difficult question to say if every Marine feels like that. From my experience, the first time we have experienced combat was I felt very safe and secure just because I had very great NCOs and leaders. That's what made me feel like we're unstoppable. But when we first taken fire for the first time, it clicked to me. I was like, well, this is serious. So I have to start acting. So it was I felt really safe and secure just because I had great NCOs and leaders.
The first time you were fired at or in a firefight or something, how did you react? I mean, do you just get into it? Do you take cover? Do you go at it? I mean, how did you react yourself?
That's a funny question. My first reaction was I took a knee in the middle of the street, and I thought I was in like in Hollywood or like a movie was being filmed because I love movies, the theater. So that was my experience. I was like, oh wow, it's like Hollywood, and then my squad leader yelled at me, get behind something. I was like, oh, and then it clicked. I was like, oh, it's real. So
Kind of surreal, maybe at the first time.
yes, I was like it was unbelievable kind of.
Can you tell me a little bit about Fallujah, with the objective of the operation and what that entailed?
Um, I really don't know the specifics. That was a long time ago. I was really young, and I was doing what I was told from my team leader. But when we first got there, there has been any military or U.S. forces in the country, so it was like Indian country, all Iraqis and no American forces until we got there. So it was pretty bad. It was pretty hairy, and it was just nonstop fighting for a good three weeks.
Was it conventional warfare where there's an enemy, you go after them, you have artillery support or whatever support and tanks or whatever you need, and were they uniformed, the enemy?
No, they weren't. That was from my understanding from the OIF experience. OIF-1 was the only conventional army they fought against with Iraqis wearing their uniforms. We were fighting against terrorists. They're all wearing civvies with ski masks or what we call black pajamas. And they just look like regular people with ski masks or head wraps.
And what kind of weapons are they carrying?
They carry a lot of foreign weapons. Majority of them are AK-47s, SKSs, and Dragunovs. A lot of them we found were Sterling weapons. They're little submachine guns. They had H&Ks 9131s. They're big calibered rifles. They had a lot of crazy. A lot of weapons were made up themselves, like a tripled RPG launcher. A lot of homemade weapons for anti-air over indirect fire.
How would you rate that, I don't even know what to call them, the enemy, as far as, you know, were they smart, were they trained, you think, or were they just kind of, you know, reckless in what they did?
Um, I believe they had a lot of training of weaponry, explosives, tactics. Not very good. They did a lot of hit and runs. They did a few stand-up fights, but they could never last that long because we were superior. But they were pretty good fighters. Other than that, they were very smart with explosives, and that's pretty much about it.
Is that a lot of what we're seeing now is the IEDs, the roadside bombings, the suicide bombers? Did you have to encounter a lot of that type of thing too in Fallujah, or is it just mainly small arms fire? Or?
In Fallujah, my whole experience over there, we've encountered one IED, just one, and well, that was it. Ramadi was a lot of IEDs and sniper fire, just because it was a very big active city. You got 3 to 4 to 6 story tall buildings. It was really dangerous over there. We couldn't use indirect fire or artillery because we weren't allowed to, because it was an active city. It was a good city. But in Fallujah, it was country and industrial cities. It was pretty run down already. So we used a lot of our assets out there, and it was a lot of stand-up fighting. So we had to do a lot of patrols and stuff.
Can you tell me a little bit about the combat you experienced? I mean, the engagements that you experienced, or maybe something comes to mind that was maybe more difficult, or a particular day that was more difficult for you during Fallujah?
I guess I know that when the first day we entered the city of Fallujah, it was a 19-hour attack with, I believe, I'm not so sure, I think we had 3 battalions already there. It was really hard to see where the firing was coming from, especially when they were shooting from in the buildings at us on the streets, because it was daytime. You couldn't see muzzle flashes as if it was night. But we saw a lot of people running back and forth and passing weapons off or ammunition to other people. And it was happening so fast that it was kind of hectic, and it was loud, confusing, very confusing, and just dangerous at the same time.
What kind of weapon did you have?
I had an M16A4.
So at what point are you engaging the enemy when they're shooting? Are you shooting into a building or or what, are they running down the street or how does that work?
If you see the enemy, you just engage. We saw a window breaking and people shooting out of a window. If you didn't see the muzzle flash, you saw the dirt coming out of the windowsill, and you could see the person. You just engage, and you had to identify targets though. Make sure it's not an unarmed person or a friendly.
Now, forgive my ignorance. How do you identify the target?
If it's person not wearing a camis or
Okay.
our camis at least.
So it's a visual. It's not like a scope that you're looking in at something. You're just.
Some weapons have optics. Some weapons don't. But before you engage, you see the person, and then you just, lift your weapon and engage. But it's fairly simple. It's like a video game. You see the person shooting at you, you shoot back. Just always make sure it's not a friendly.
So now you were a corporal at that time in Fallujah?
In Fallujah, I was a private first class.
Okay, so you're part of a platoon or a company, a squad, or
Um,
all of the above?
all of the above. I was in third platoon, third squad, first team.
Okay.
And I was a A gunner, so I supplied our gunner with his ammunition if he needed it, and I had a rifle.
So what was the unit that you were deployed with back then?
I was with the 1st Battalion, 5th Marines.
Okay, great. Is that the 5th Marine Division or regiment? How does that work?
It's a regiment.
Okay. Which is part of which division? Are you guys part of the...
We're 1st Division.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, and your MOS now or then? Same?
Same thing. It's 0311, just basically a basic infantryman.
Very important job.
It is.
Yes.
It's
And you're trained with a number of different kind of weapons, obviously.
yes.
Yeah. Going into the cities, was it like house to house or building to building as far as...
It was urban. Everything. It was like being in a regular city, just really dirty and sandy. But it was all urban warfare, and that's it.
But when you guys slept, did you sleep at night, and where did you sleep? I mean, is there time to rest?
Yes. Oh, yes. When we entered the city, we occupied a building. It was actually an empty factory. It was really small, and we occupied it for our platoon. And our company was with us on other buildings aligned to this the same place, whatever. And it was we slept on wherever we could find on the floor. We used cardboard boxes as mattresses or whatever we could find because it was just dirt floor and it was just really run down. And we have shifts for securing our outpost, our little area. So we'll have 2 people or 3 people on the roof watching. We'll rotate every 4 hours, and that's what we did.
Gunfire and artillery explosions during the night, or is it quiet at night?
It's usually artillery and gunshots, but there's not a lot of attacking. I guess we thought the enemy slept too, so we always fought in the morning and rested at night. But they fired anti-air, artillery, mortars. It was sometimes, not all the time though.
So this operation lasts several weeks, you said, or?
We were in Fallujah and in the city of Fallujah, and it was a good 3 weeks we were there.
Were you wounded at all during this time?
No, unfortunately. I mean, thank goodness I wasn't.
How about those around you? Did you lose any friends, wounded or killed?
Yes, we did. Not anyone like next to me. It just happened. We heard it on the radio and we got the word. A few people.
What was the most difficult part of that operation for you?
I guess staying awake and trying your best not to fall asleep on post. Everything was just so confusing. So.
Did we have like tanks and artillery support and all that there?
We had a lot of support. We had C-130 gunships, helos, a few jets, tanks, AAVs.
Would the air support come in with any type of machine guns or strafing runs or bombs, or how would they interact with the ground troops?
It was always done by comm, a radio, and they tell them the target where it's at, and they had a cannon on their C-130, something like that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I don't know what else weapon system they had, but I know it's a cannon.
Mm-hmm. Was there a particular firefight that was more
Excuse me.
don't want to say dangerous. I mean, it was all dangerous, but anything that you recall that maybe was tougher than another? I mean, was there a particular day? Do you want some water?
Yes, please. Can I get some water?
Yeah. Can you find a cup there or give us some water? Let's see, find a cup in the bathroom and just pour some water out of my bottle. You're okay. Just fine.
Thank you.
You know, as I'm asking you these questions, I told the last gentleman, when I'm talking about combat, you know, my mind is thinking about World War II, Korea, Vietnam, because that's mainly where I've been the last 4 years. So talking with yourself and others this week has been kind of enlightening and different. And so some of my questioning, you know, as I ask you, I know you're thinking about what I'm asking you, but I'm coming from that angle, and and some of the things I've heard from the combat veterans I've talked to who were in you know, almost unspeakable situations, you know. And you feel like, you know, coming back home and having been in that, I'll get back into Iraq, but coming back and having been in combat, was there any adjustment period for you that you had to go through, or was it kind of like, well, I was there, I'm back home, and life goes on, or did you have some downtime and had to reflect on it and maybe talk about it, or just suck it up, or transitioning back into normal Marine life? I mean, was that hard, or is that a fair question?
No, how I figured for myself, I grew up with a really good family, a very family oriented. So transitioning it was just like I picked up where I left off. But it wasn't that hard for me.
So I'm sorry, you said 2 tours, right?
Yes.
Okay. The first tour was the Fallujah. What was the second one you said?
It was in Ramadi.
Okay. What's that? Where was that?
Well, it was another big city
Okay.
of in Iraq, and
Was that a similar type campaign, or was it?
it was different a little bit. We did a lot of security operations, a lot of convoys, and overwatches. It wasn't very hostile, except for the IEDs and sniper fire. Not a lot of stand-up fighting.
What was that? 05? 06?
05.
05. Okay. Did you say Ramadi? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, that's a city in Iraq.
Mhm.
Okay. How would you, you know, having been in combat, how would you define combat?
Wow, it's a kind of hard to answer. All I know is just it's very, I mean, it's very much real. It's very dangerous. It's not like what you see in the movies. It's really hard to I guess in the long run, it's really hard to understand that you've actually had to do something and you actually made it through. Because over there, you got to do it, and you're like, well, thank goodness I did it, or it's out of the way already. I'm still alive. But and I guess in the late and long run, you're just like, wow, I can't believe I actually had to do something like that. It was crazy. It's really riskful. But I guess that's my way of describing it. I don't know.
How much does the history of the Marine Corps play into a situation today in combat? I mean, you guys learn a lot about the history of the Marine Corps, and being a Marine today, did you kind of embody that spirit of what went before, you know, when you're in combat? Does that make sense?
No, I don't understand it.
Okay. Well, just, you know, like Iwo Jima, you know, camp battles like that,
Mhm.
being a Marine, there's a lot of pride in what's gone before.
Mhm.
And being in today's situation, do you feel like you're a new fighting force today, or you just are a part of a long series of tradition? And do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
You're part of this fighting machine.
From my understanding, my experience, every war is a different war, and it'll never be like the Belleau Wood in World War I, the beaches of Iwo Jima or Normandy. That was, I believe, I mean, just from watching documentaries and movies, that was a lot worse. It was really, really chaotic. Our war is a different war. Every year gets different. There was the Korea and Vietnam War, and then we had the Iraqi wars. It's different. It's all riskful at its own cause, but it'll never be the way it was back then.
It's very unconventional today, isn't it?
Yes, we're not fighting against uniformed soldiers. They're just people that have their own cause, I believe.
Let me ask you this question. I've asked most of the Marines this. You know, being a Marine, I hope this isn't a difficult question for you, but you know, this kind of encompasses, I think, what we're fighting for today. But what does freedom mean to you?
Wow. I really don't know how to answer that question. I never dawned upon it.
Well, let me kind of word it maybe a little differently. But you know, living in this country, we have a lot of freedoms, and they're being protected today, whether
Mhm.
people realize it or not. And, you know, what you did and what you're doing, what the Marines will continue to do. To me, you're protecting our freedoms. You're fighting over there, so we don't have to fight over here.
Mhm.
I mean, do you feel like that?
To some extent, I'm very thankful to be a part of the Marine Corps, and for this fighting for our country. And there's certain things that we have that other people don't. So I'm always very thankful. So I guess I don't know if I can best just answer your question.
How about the price for freedom? What would you say about that?
It's a very high price. It's sad, but someone's got to do it, and that's why I believe I respect Marines and former military service members from the past that has done this. It's a high risk.
How about the American flag? What does that mean and represent to you as a Marine and as an American citizen?
I have a lot of pride for our flag. Every time I see it, I understand now being a Marine, why it's there and what we had to do to protect it. So I mean, I I love, I guess I could say I love our flag. I love our country.
And when you're in combat, are you conscious of that, God and country, or is it a matter of survival?
It's more like fight for our brothers, our left and right, and to protect each other, and fight for the person at home, like, whether it's your family or mother, wife, or girlfriend.
How about the camaraderie of the Marine Corps? How would you describe that?
Over there, it's very, very high because we're all a family out there. We're all fighting together. We're all brothers fighting for the same cause, brothers in arms. It's really high up there, up in Iraq, and here is where we build it.
So what when I ask you questions about combat and things, I mean, do you think somebody that's been in combat maybe would tend to forget some of the bad stuff, or is it just you think about it, or I guess how do you talk to your peers about it? I mean, like was there downtime over there, or was there a time to unwind, or is it just gung ho all the time?
Oh, there's time to unwind. It's not always 24/7, even though you have to be on the alert all the time. But after a patrol, you come back, shower, get something to eat, um, watch a movie, play cards, talk to your buddies. There's a lot of that going on. And then when we always get the word saying, "Hey, get ready to go. We're going to be leaving in probably half an hour. We're going to get a brief, going on patrol." We always get word prior of what's going on. So there's always people talking, commuting, and calling home, emailing.
But if were like chaplains around too, people like that
Oh,
people could
yes.
talk to if they needed to.
We have chaplains. Yeah,
Were they out in were they out where the action was maybe doing last rites with people too at times, or do you see anything like that?
I've never experienced or seen anything like that. I know they were in our camps, and we could go see them when we wanted to or if we needed to. But personally, I've never seen them on the field.
How about the corpsmen? What do you have to say about the Navy corpsmen?
Um, our Navy corpsmen are saviors. They're always out there with us out in the field, and they see what we see. They're just non-combatants, and sometimes they are, but they're out there with us doing the same thing we are. They're more when it comes to talking to civilians. They help them out, talk to them, but they're out there with us.
Did you ever have to help somebody that was wounded yourself?
I don't believe so. It's kind of weird to say, but I don't think I have.
So you're back here at Camp Pendleton. What's a typical day here for you? I mean, as an infantryman.
It just depends on what we have on the schedule. You could be out in the field for a week long or a few days of that week, or every morning is a formation. We'll have after formation we'll go PT and learn something from our NCOs, our leaders, team leaders, squad leaders. We'll learn something about house clearing, how to talk to people, how to do patrols, hand arm signals, just little things, whatever they come up with. It's the typical day.
How much time spent firing weapons?
We do a lot of ranges. There'll be times when we don't do ranges. We just learn about the weapon systems or how to manipulate them. But we do spend quite a few times on weapons, a lot actually.
So you think you're going to be a career man, or?
I haven't decided. I'm gonna wait till at least 3 years to think about that. But I have 4 more years left in the military. I re-enlisted, and I just want to go from there and just. I'm trying to get into SOI to give back what I've learned from the military to the younger Marines, the new ones that are coming in.
What's SOI?
It's School of Infantry.
Here at Camp Pendleton?
Yes.
So you would actually go talk to them and
You train them. You help.
Good.
Yeah.
I didn't know that existed. That's good.
That's where you get after boot camp. You go to SOI or ITB or MCT, and you just learn the basics on how to be a rifleman. And from there, you go to the fleet, your new battalion.
So that's like your advanced training then, your SOI?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. AIT in the Army, I guess, huh?
I guess I've never heard of it.
Advanced Individual Training. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. How has the Marine Corps changed you? I mean, or even combat, how has that changed you as a person? Or has it?
I believe there's a change. I believe as a whole in the Marine Corps with everything I've been through, I know for a fact I don't take anything for granted anymore. It's just like when every time I come back from a deployment, it's breathing the air in America, or it's just like, oh, I'm glad I'm here. You can kiss the ground you walk on, because over there it's really dirty and it's bad. I don't take anything for granted anymore.
How do you think the American people perceive the war over there, or think about the war? Do you think it's a positive thing or a negative thing, based on maybe what you've heard or what you've seen?
I'm not too sure. I really don't know how to answer that question. It just varies, I guess.
What do you think the American public should know about what's happening in Iraq today?
It's just the fact that the risk. It's just. I mean, there's a reason why we're out there, and it's very riskful. But we just need all the support as much as we can get. Well, that's all I can think about right now.
That's fine. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer. It's just because you hear a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times you hear, it makes it look all bad. Tell me about some of the good things that are happening over there, or when you were there. Did you see? Obviously, what you're doing is a good cause, but just maybe some of the civic affair type things that are going on, or community affairs. I mean, what type of things are the Marines helping rebuild? Or when Fallujah was secured, was there a celebration? Did they thank you? I mean, what happened with all that?
It wasn't nothing like that. All I know is we were there to make a difference, and the Iraqi people, they really loved us. They always waved at us, and we waved back. They always wanted us to come down and sit with them and eat some of their food, and they're always very grateful. And it was pretty cool. It was actually really nice. They love us having there, and there's of course people that didn't want us there, and they did their own thing. But I've met some very friendly people. It's like, wow, it's like they're having their own little parade for you in their little village. It's really nice. But
can you tell me what an insurgent is? I hear that word, like the insurgents. What is that? Like a rebellious, somebody who goes against the grain, or what type of person is that?
I don't know the textbook definition of what an insurgent is. All I know is I believe an insurgent is it's just a person that's believes in his own cause, and It's like right there. I can't even say it. They're just the terrorists. They're just people that are not part of the military force that don't want us there.
Well, they're like rebels, don't you think?
Yes,
You know?
yeah, something like that. Like rogue people, rogue soldiers, or
Did you ever come close or face to face with any of these bad guys? I mean, or was it just distant, sporadic sniper fire, or were there times that you were like we are, this close together?
um. Yes, there was times. It was. Yes, there was those times.
Do you think they value human life like we do?
I'm not. I'm not really sure. They, like I said earlier, they believe in their own thing, and I'm not sure what it is, but I don't know. I guess they don't or something. I don't know. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, so you're cool. You know, again, I told you why I'm thinking about a lot of these things. You know, just um, I say this with all due respect. It's just I heard another Marine use this word, so I'm going to ask you about this. But somebody used the word. I guess we're brainwashed. For lack of better words, you know, going through your training, you know, being a Marine and whatever. You think that's an accurate description of Marine Corps training in a positive sense? You know, there's brainwashing in the sense of combat, war, the enemy, and all that. I'm assuming there has to be a degree of that, but I mean, how do you feel? I mean,
I've heard that word. I've heard of that term before, and I believe it's not true. I believe we're more focused. That's how best way I can say. You have to be. It's not brainwashed because if you're brainwashed, that's all you know and do. Like if you go out in the civilian world and with your friends, you're just like, I'm still training or whatever. Focus. You just do your job. When you're done, you come back and relax, go out with friends. But when it comes to it, you get back to and get ready to go on next day of work. That's the best way I could describe it.
I like that better too. You know, there's got to be a degree of training and conditioning for war, obviously. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you're going through boot camp, you know, or training to go into combat, I guess one thing that's intrigued me, and I've asked probably Lewis this question too, but I mean, he said when he was a teenager, he didn't play baseball. He was learning how to kill people. You know, that's a good description of training in wartime, but. Again, I'm a civilian asking this question. I don't think I've ever asked this, but I mean, you know, are you being trained? I mean, do you train to hate an enemy, or how do you? Is that an instinct that you acquire, or is it just in somebody, or it's not in somebody to be in a situation like that, or is it just totally reactional?
I believe that's something that it gets acquired. I know from training, we well. It's I know we weren't trained to hate the enemy or hate the Iraqi people, because we're there to help them out, but the enemy we're trained to do our job is to, I guess you could say, to kill the enemy, to engage, but at the same time make a difference.
It's kill or be killed in combat, right?
That's the mindset. It's you do or die, as the Marine Corps would say, but it's kill or be killed. So.
Okay. I think I'm going to stop. I think we've covered way more than we needed to, but I appreciate your time today, and I'm going to have you, if it's okay, I'd like to take a picture of you and I before you take off today.
That sounds
I'm
great.
going to scan those few pictures that you have too. So.